All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business today. Gonna check out its local search and its city search, see if either of them got BSS. So we're back here in the GBC universe. So we take declining boudoir photographers, make them into the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More of that and, like the pinned post or whatever, featured post on this profile. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So for rising, we're probably getting everyone across the entire intent spectrum, the intent ladder here. High intent on the left, lowest intent over on the right. And if boudoir photographer, their business is falling, probably missing chunks of people here in the intent spectrum. So here we talk about way on the left, BSS. So we're focusing on the highest intent people, the people searching for boudoir photo shoots in their city right now on social media and in Google search. So closest to the money, easiest to close. And way over at the other end, that's the lowest intent people in our city. Got to reach them with interruption ads via Instagram and Facebook. Maybe they know what boudoir is. Maybe they've never heard of it. We got to educate them. And so that's what we talk about on our other brand, Boudoir FD Ad Doctor. We talk about BLCS. And right now we're only working with boudoir. Over there, we're only working with boudoir photographers, spending more than 10 grand per month on boudoir Facebook ads. All right, so boudoir search sameness, BSS. That's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on Google, on page 1 of Google search for the highest intent keywords. So 0 slots, we're going to be dead soon if we got 0 slots on page 1. That's because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never go past page 1. They're page 1 only. So that means approximately 20% go to page 2 and deeper. So we care about this 80%, the bulk of the market. This is who we're going to focus on. So if we got 0 slots, we're invisible to 80% of the market, which means we're basically an invisible business. If we got 1 slot, we're still essentially invisible because we look the same as everyone else. If there's 10 organic slots page 1 on Google, if other peeps, if there's 9 other boudoir photographers than us, that means, we got 1 link same as everyone else, and a buyer's just going to go down page 1 Google search, control click, right click, open a new tab, everyone, shoot a message to everyone, get price quotes, compare pricing, and price shop, everyone on page 1. But if we can get more real estate on page 1 and fewer competitors on page 1, we actually get price shop last. Now, 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google is not normal. It's extremely common, but it's not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about, and the previously unknown root cause, which we now know, is actually the false belief of page 1 equality. So market saturation, that's when someone gets a new phone, they are a new iPhone, they throw up their own Google My Business profiles and then actually put the wall, they got their own website, they're trying to compete with us for page 1 Google supremacy. And as a result, we also got people getting a new camera, then they start posting the mom groups on Facebook, and they also offer boudoir photography. So market saturation means more sellers to the same number of buyers. That's literally what it means. It means it's harder and harder for each seller to win. So everyone understands also big market saturation happened during COVID. People couldn't work, people lost their jobs, and they had to, big flood of boudoir photographers came into the market then because people had to, because they needed to earn money somehow. Now, the previously unknown root cause, the second one, is the false belief of page 1 equality. And what that is, so the default belief of page 1 equality, which kind of people automatically accepted, they didn't really think about it because there was no term to actually describe it, is actually kind of assuming or just accepting that, every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google for their website, and if the market gets saturated, it pushes off page 1 to page 2, because some new websites ranking higher. Well, that's how it is, and that's simply how it is, whatever. That's the game, and hopefully someone deletes their website, so maybe we can get back on page 1 and Google lets us back in. But no, that is 100% false. That's a false belief, and we have to simply accept that. What I've discovered is Google will actually give us as many links and slots on page 1 Google search as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And I use this strategy that we're going to talk about to go from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in Google search in 10 days. So we'll talk about that in like 3 or 4 more pictures here. Next up, we know that Boudoir photographer with BSS, Boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing Boudoir photographer. So if we got 0 slots on page 1, we're on page 2, we're invisible to the 80%, approximately 80% bulk of the market. Disappearing Boudoir photographer, we got disappeared onto page 2. And if we're, one slot on page 1 of Google, then we're also disappearing because we're not visible. I mean, people don't see no difference between us and everyone else on page 1 of Google. Literally nothing different. And there's going to clicking price shop plus everyone down page 1. And again, approximately 80% of Google searches never even go to page 2. So we don't got to worry. We literally don't have to worry about page 1. And disappearing Boudoir photographer, it's the canary in the coal mine. If one becomes a disappearing Boudoir photographer, pretty soon thereafter, the Boudoir photography business will disappear as well. But now we have a solution. So we now know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka our S-cubed methodology that we invented. And again, this is exactly the strategy, the methodology I use to go from 0 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 in 10 days. And this is the only strategy for Boudoir photographers that I've seen I can actually successfully fight back and against market saturation and continue to grow market share. And so it works by, and we'll go deeper into it, but the name, social search saturation. We saturate social search for our highest intent keywords. It's kind of like the feeder rivers, small feeder rivers from the Andes Mountains and to the Amazon. And kind of all that reputation, the keyword dominance on search flows into the Amazon River, page 1 Google search, and the pages thereafter for what we want to rank for. And so, yeah, this is the only thing that I've seen that successfully fights back against market saturation and actually kind of makes it null and void. Because imagine we're in Las Vegas, imagine there's 1 million boudoir photographers total, we're one of them. Everyone's got a boudoir photography website, everyone's trying to rank on Google, page 1 Google. But if we crank up S-cube methodology to the maximum, and let's say we rank, the first 300 slots across all social platforms for search, and as a result, we also rank the first 300 slots Google for search for the highest intent keywords for boudoir photographer buyers. Then anytime a buyer in our city literally searches anywhere, most likely Google, 90% of searches still, approximately 90% of searches still happen on Google. Then we got the first 300 slots and there's 10 organic slots per page. We got the first 30 pages all to ourselves for the organic slots. And all the other competitors in organic, they start on page 31. No one's going to page 31. So even if the market's ultra saturated with 1 million boudoir photographers, whose business is still growing? Ours. Whose business is disappearing? All the other boudoir photographers, because they cannot be found. And guess what? Approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. They're page 1 only, which means we really only got to worry about page 1 and take as much, we say GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 is what we want to take. But, S-cubed methodology gives us a pathway to take as many slots on page 1 as we want, if we put in the effort to acquire those slots. Now, once treated with S-cubed methodology, we have page 1 visibility. A bonus of this is every new slot we take on Google page 1 is we are kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page 1, effectively making them invisible. Again, that's because we actually know that approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. They're page 1 only searches. And that's all we care about. This is the bulk of the market, the approximately 80% of searches that happen like this. Now, page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. Now, our GBC recommended is always to hit 3 out of the 10 slots on page 1, and that helps with boudoir search visibility because everyone else is going to have most likely 1 slot on page 1. So when they see 3 versus 1, when buyers see 3 versus 1, they're instinctively going to say, "Wow, why is Google recommending this person so many different times?" I'll just go with this person that's got the 3 slots. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny chance that another boudoir photographer will have 2 slots, but those tiny chances are 3 slots will always overwhelm them. So that's why we want boudoir search visibility. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our full micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. We now know it's false, but when people believed it prior, they never thought to try a solution to overcome it because they thought it was just the default, just how it is. But we've proven, we'll see in the next picture, proven that that's incorrect. We now have the path, we now have the solution, our own proprietary S-cubed methodology to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, and to have boudoir search visibility. So my results using S-cubed methodology for myself. So I want to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. So I employed S-cubed methodology. Go down to the organics here. So we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots, Google search page 1, in 10 days, exclusively using S-cubed methodology. And I was using on the minimum setting, like kind of the minimum, kind of the minimum frequency. So you can see the results that I got. Now onto the main event here. We got our Boudoir Photography business. Going to check on them and their local search, their city search, page 1 on Google. Well, we want to see. And actually, I gotta bring these over. So we're going to Carefree, AZ. Yeah, I do remember looking at that's Northeast Phoenix and then Phoenix, Arizona. All right, let's go over here. Boom. All right, let's see what we got. Boom, we got one. Oh, Scottsdale. Okay, I think that's a part of Phoenix. So boom, got one. Boom, we got two. Perfect. Um, I I don't believe that's her. Okay, boom, we got three. Boom, we got four. Boom, we got five. Boom, we got six. Awesome, dudes. 6 out of 10. So we overcome. We do not have BSS, and we have achieved the GBC recommended of 3 out of 10. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see with Boudoir photography businesses doing. So for the best chance for themselves. And now, oh, we gotta go to Phoenix actually. Phoenix. All right, so city's always harder to rank for because there's more peeps competing, more keyword momentum. All right, we got one. All right, so we do got BSS for. All right, so we got we do not have BSS, and we did hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for the local search, and we do not. We got BSS of for the city search, which city is always harder. Right? There's way more overlapping people trying to rank there. And we did not hit the recommended GBC minimum of 3 on the city search, which is actually normal. I don't know if, unless it's a small city or kind of a small town, I don't know if I've seen anyone hit that yet, or maybe like 1 or 2. Very difficult though. All right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, because you've done your local search for the highest intent keywords that boudoir buyers are searching for in your local area, and then in your city area, and either you had BSS for one of them or both of them, or you did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for one of them or both of them, then, well, and you see, finally there's a solution here, S-cubed methodology. Like, yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. And you're able to see that because you've accepted that. The false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. We're not just subject to the whims of Google search. Google actually allows us to go and take as many page 1 slots as we want, as we'll put in the effort for. So you realize that's a false belief, to just kind of let it be, and we can go grab and take as much as we want. And you also send the 2 prongs of market saturation. More boudoir photographers every week. Someone's getting a new phone, someone getting a new camera. You like the initial benefits, more slots on page 1, and especially kicking your competitors off page 1, making them disappear. And so you're liking dominating page 1 and preventing current boudoir photographers from getting in, or ranking on page 1, or essentially ever being seen by the approximately 80% bulk of the Google searchers, the market. And you're actually thinking ahead, and you're saying AI, okay, it's taking more and more people's jobs every single day. Last time that happened, COVID, more people were forced to become boudoir photographers to earn money. So like, all right, I already know what over and above more people buying new iPhones, getting new cameras, more people getting new being forced to become boudoir photographers, but they already have the device in their hands already. And so you want to fortify your position. You see S-Cube's methodology is a perfect way to do that. And you also like the extra backend benefits that you can see with, you know, using the solution, which is for every day we execute on S-Cube methodology correctly, we actually increase the probability of getting recommended here, top primary, placement, the best slot, AI overview. And, when we get this premium placement, people are getting, kind of like it's kind of like a Google best recommended badge, hidden, but kind of implicitly in the buyer's, in the buyer subconscious. And also, every day we do SQ methodology correctly, you know, we're basically building up these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of like columns or spokes out from the hub of our brand, our business name. And that's what AI uses for the AI overview. And also, as we build up these invisible thematic keyword columns, we are increasing the probability that AI search recommends us for an AI search query. That's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, and also Google Gemini. So these are kind of future benefits of executing SQ methodology correct today, day after day after day. Other future benefit obviously helps us build a brand faster since we're everywhere at once, way faster, about 4 times faster than normal. Actually, it could be 6, 7, 8 times faster than normal actually. So also building the brand faster, and you decide you're going to be a first person mover of your city using SQ methodology because, well, you heard that my current plan right now is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you want to hop on that. You decide you're going to hop on that to kick out all your competitors and actually get these initial benefits. More slots page one, kicking more people off page one, fortifying your page one for new boudoir photographers when AI is taking people's jobs, building up AI overview probability, AI search recommendation probability. Because, dude, I remember when I searched for boudoir photographers in the city, ChatGPT, last time I did it recommended 3. And I went there manually, searched with Google, went through all the list, there's like 60. And so we really got to win Google AI search because it's increasing every single year. I haven't used standard Google search for things in like a year. Or AI search is increasing every single day. I mean, I've used the AI mode on Google a lot. Give me the summary. I don't want to read nothing. And so increase probability AI overview placement, increase probability AI search placement, approximately 8 times faster to create a brand because of all these other initial benefits. So imagine you got a winning brand and you're still using SQ methodology. And everyday user making bigger and bigger strides against your current competitors in the city because they ain't working with me. That's the plan right now. And you also see conversely, if your competitor works with me first, and you get shut out, you lose all these initial benefits, you lose all the fortification benefits, you lose the future benefits, AI overview, higher probability recommended AI search, building a brand approximately 8 times faster. And you actually first need to rederive or derive for the first time S-cubed methodology for yourself, and then you need to go execute it. And you're never going to be 100% confident executing it because you're never going to know if you've derived it or rederived it correctly. But let's say you're equaling our output, but me and your competitor have already been working together a bunch, so we have a massive gap between us already. So even if you equal our output, you're guaranteed to just keep the gap the same size between your competitor and your city that's working with me and you. So you need to actually double or triple our output to kind of pull those invisible thematic keyword column momentum away from the the AI kind of brain overview from your competitor over towards yourself. And it's like, dude, who's got the 80 hours? You need like 80 hours a day. You need like 80 hours a day to do that. So you decide, screw that. You decide you're gonna be the first mover of your city hopping on this, because you don't want to deal with not getting these benefits and your competitor getting them instead of you. So that's you. Shoot me a DM when basically when my DM's open. My DMs are currently closed. Hospital's currently closed for new patients. But when the hospital opens for new patients, shoot me a DM and we'll see if you qualify to use our S-cubed methodology.